Good evening. Welcome to the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce Annual Dinner and Awards Banquet. My name is Randy Judd. I'm the very proud principal of Connersville High School. Next to that, I'm also a very proud resident of Fayette County, a lifetime. I will be your master of ceremonies tonight, and there are a few people in here that work with me, and they're probably a little afraid of giving me a microphone because they know what I do at work. I've made promises. I will not tell jokes tonight. I will not give you any political theory or dialogue. We get enough of that on social media, don't we? Tonight, it's serious, and it's all about talking about and celebrating some of the good things happening in our community. So first, I would like to introduce CHS Choir Director Roger Tyler and the CHS Choir. They will sing a short piece. After that piece, I would like for everyone to stand up. They will sing the national anthem. And then Reverend Richie Ware will come forward with the invocation. And then we'll be dismissed by our table chair to go to the buffet line. I will remind you there are 4 lines. So we should move through that buffet line quickly. So for our beginning act, Connersville High School Choir.
Hark, I hear the harps eternal ringing on the farther shore. As I near those swollen waters with their deep and solemn roar. Hallelujah, 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 praise the Lord, hallelujah, hallelujah, glory to swiftly on those waters to the city far away. Hallelujah, 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 praise hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Souls have crossed before me saintly to that land of perfect rest, and I hear them singing faintly in the mansions of the blessed. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah,
This was one of 10 ensembles that's going to be competing this Saturday contest. This is our 5th period ensemble. And now they're going to sing the Star Spangled Banner for you, so please stand in honor of that.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what? 'What so proudly we hailed, o'er the land of the free, of the free, and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
Good evening, everyone. We're getting ready to go into our prayer. I said the kids did an awesome job. Could we have a, yep. Amen. They sang that song just the way I wrote it. They did good. Amen. So if you'd bow your heads for a moment of prayer as we go in. Almighty God, we want to thank you for all these organizations that are coming together to further the workings and the going forth of Fayette County. Father, we want to thank you for those who have participated in putting this together. The cooperation between organizations, God, is just miraculous. Father, we want to thank you for all the men and women that are in attendance here, and we want to thank you, God, for the food that we're about to receive. Father, that we would bless those who have prepared it and us who are going to partake of it and partake of this event. And God, we ask, just as you have got everybody here safely, you would get them home safely also. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
I want to say thank you so much to our diplomat committee. As I look across the room, I'm seeing one in the back that just stepped down after 31 years of service. His name is Jim Birch. Jim, thank you for the service that you volunteered these 31 years. This event is put on and hosted by the Fayette County Chamber Diplomats. We had a core subcommittee group that was made up of Renee Nesbitt with Reed Health, Anna Pugsley from Connorsville News-Examiner, Ginger Scholl with the Fayette County Senior Center, and also, I just drew a blank. Sharon McQueen with the Whitewater Valley Arts Association, volunteer extraordinaire. I'm sorry, Sharon, how could I forget your name? This core subcommittee has been meeting for months since the end of September to plan and organize and put this event together. And along with Kelly Isaacs, who's the event designer, just made this beautiful evening possible. I'm grateful to the rest of our diplomat committee that we have that have worked here to help bring our guests in, to host you at our reception and at our refreshment tables. So thank you so much for your work. We've had 5 board members that left us at the end of this 2019. They have diligently, and you'll hear from our chairwoman, Krista Gibson, here in a few moments, but these board members have, for many years, diligently worked with the chamber in helping over the last 4 years specifically say we need to go in a direction that gets more involvement, more exposure, and more promotion of our businesses in Fayette County. And so I want to give a big appreciation to those outgoing board members. They are Amy Hammonds with Union Savings and Loan Association, Krista Gibson, who is currently with Reed Health. We also, Sue Barth, who is currently the principal of St. Gabriel's School, Steve Kreider, who was formerly with Fayette County with the Fayette Regional Health Services. And so we very much appreciate the work that they've provided during this time. I just want to say sit back and relax. We have a dynamic speaker here tonight in Daryl Gordon, and we want to give him the full time to give his presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our MC to come forward, and I think we're ready to move on. So thank you again for being here tonight, and enjoy your evening.
At this time, I would like for Dennis Perkins, Security Manager at Connersville's Reed Health, to come forward. He will introduce our guest speaker for the evening.
Okay, I won't start this yet, but it is my honor to be able to introduce someone to you who is someone I'm very familiar with. She is my cousin. I would like to have Krista Gibson come forward at this time.
Good evening. I would like to take a few moments and reflect back on the highlights of 2019. The Chamber kicked off the year with many exciting roundtables, ribbon cuttings, and sadly bid farewell to 5 long-term board members. The new year, however, brings the addition of 3 new board members in the anticipation of moving forward. The Chamber has been a great resource to the community and its businesses, some being holding ribbon cuttings to highlight the opening of new businesses, notarizing certificates of origin for our international businesses such as Howden Roots to verify location production so that equipment can clear customs into foreign countries. The Chamber has continued to send out monthly newsletters, keep the webpage updated with current job postings, a calendar of events to keep everyone up to date on what is going on in the community, and updates on changes in state and federal labor law postings to maintain compliance. The newsletter also highlights local business news and their employees. 23 organizations were added to the Chamber membership. We were very busy with ribbon cuttings in 2019 to promote, highlight expansions, relocations, and community-wide events. Some of those were the Castle, the Game Den, Whitewater Regional Federal Credit Union, a welcome to Reed Health at Reed Healthier Community Day, George's Pharmacy, the Oasis, Whitewater Valley Rehabilitation, Eldridge Tax and Accounting, BAM Fitness, Lighthouse Financial Group, Tektronix, The Link, Centerstone Health Services, and the dedication and ribbon cutting for the bicentennial stage in Roberts Park. We also held business roundtables, which included important issues and training on how to get your business on the Google search engine, navigate social media as a marketing tool, and employee retention. We welcomed our new teachers at our yearly luncheon and had lunch with our new Congress member, golfed at our annual golf classic, hosted candidates forums for the general election, and held legislative series events that bring elected officials and federal agencies to town to provide valuable education on issues that directly affect how we do business and help navigate through often confusing processes such as the Social Security Administration. The Chamber's most fundamental mission is to generate more business activity for the community. Some benefits of being a member of the Chamber are marketing, advocacy, networking, and professional development. You may be asking, is the Chamber worth it? The answer is yes. Newsletters, guidebooks, and other virtual publications can highlight your businesses and increase the visibility of your products and services. The Chamber is also a great resource of information for visitors and local residents and consistently refers potential customers to our members. I encourage you, if you're not currently a member of the Chamber, to become one. The possibilities are endless. Being president of the Chamber for 2 terms and serving on the board of directors for a number of years has been a learning experience. But most important, it has opened many doors for me. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the Chamber. I am thankful for the networking opportunities and the many friendships I have made on a personal and professional level. I would like to thank the Diplomat Committee for your dedication and hard work, making sure ribbon cuttings, our annual golf classic, and awards banquets are always a success. To the current board, thank you for making it easy to lead such a group of successful people, and thank you for working together and not against each other. Gertrude, I thank you for your guidance and dedication to the board and your positive attitude in the community. I am humbled and grateful for this experience, and I look forward to hearing the future success and growth of the Chamber. Thank you. I would now like to invite the 2020 Chamber Board Chair to the stage, Jessica Burton.
Thank you. As the newly appointed chair of the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, I look forward to the upcoming year. I am excited for opportunities to work with not only the board, but the diplomats and the entire membership. Our community has undergone many changes in the recent years, and I'm hopeful that the Chamber can continue to grow and develop in response to our community transitions. As we move forward into 2020, please keep in mind that we are always open to new ideas and recommendations. We value input from our membership. Feel free to reach out to myself, Gertrude, or to any board member or diplomat to discuss ideas or suggestions that you may have. Now I would like to ask Krista Gibson to step forward. Krista, on behalf of the board chamber and its entire membership, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all of the volunteer hours that you've put in over the last several years. Thank you for guiding the chamber with grace and dignity. You have been appreciated, and your professionalism and dedication leaves me a little speechless. So, thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of the entire chamber, I would like to present you with this appreciation.
They told me now I'm up, so. Before I get started, I know that it is truly an honor to stand before you this evening and not only be part of one of the best places that I've worked in a long time, but to see so much activity within our community. And it's one of those things of where I see it not just something for them to do, but we are all family. I had to get to the point of where I didn't say them any longer, it is us, because I am part of Reed. And that is a wonderful thing, so thank you guys very much. It is my privilege to introduce tonight's speaker on behalf of Reed, and I can't believe they let me have the mic. So we will see how that goes tonight. And then once this is done, they may say you will never get up there again. So I do truly thank them for the healthcare services that they provide for the people of Fayette County and the surrounding communities. Daryl Gordon, friend of mine, when I seen him today, I let him know, I said, now you know I'm going to speak from my heart. And he said, have at it. So.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. I'll stick to the script. Daryl Gordon was a former starting, now this is so awesome, starting outside linebacker on the 1988 National Championship Notre Dame football team, which is the best football team in my opinion and only one that exists, but that's okay. Gordon was also honored as a White House guest of the former President Reagan and President Bush Sr. in recognition for his team's athletic performances. In 2003, Daryl received the National William D. Reynolds Award by the Notre Dame Alumni Association for performing exceptional work with youth and the betterment of their life. He is a busy man, and that is so awesome. In 2005, Daryl also received the Exceptional Service Award by the Chase College of Law, exempling the ideas of Chase through daily contributions to serve the community. In 2006, Daryl was a recipient of the Top 20 Distinguished Minority Notre Dame Alumni Exemplar Award. In 2008, Daryl received the Notre Dame Law Association St. Ives Award for devoting substantial time, not just a little bit, but substantial, and that is so awesome because it is needed, in his efforts in the practice of support for the social justice law. In 2014, he was chosen as one of 25 top executives in the state of Indiana to participate in 2015 Journey Fellowship. In 2015, Daryl was the recipient of the Center for Leadership Development Minority Achievers Award for Excellence in the Business and Industry and the IARCA Excellence in Service Award. Man, you are busy. That is awesome. In 2006, Daryl was awarded the highest honor in the state of Indiana, the Sagamore of the Wabash Award from then Governor Mike Pence. In 2019, Daryl was honored with the Champion of Diversity Award from the Indiana Minority Business Magazine and as one of Indy's most pivotal leaders. Awesome. A native of Hillside, New Jersey, Daryl had the privilege, now this is so awesome for me to even say these words right here, had the privilege of playing under the leadership of one of College Football Hall of Fame's most winning coach, Lou Holtz, at the University of Notre Dame. Woo. See, there's some other Notre Dame fans out here. That is awesome. That is awesome, yes, that is awesome. Daryl's accomplishments on the gridiron can only be matched by his accomplishments off the field. Daryl earned a bachelor's degree in economics and business and a master's degree of science and administration from Notre Dame. The Juris Doctorate from Northern Kentucky University Chase College of Law, and a certification in fundraising management, CFRM, from Indiana University of Philanthropy, and a strategic perspective in nonprofit management from Harvard Business School Executive Education Program. So you thought I was joking. He is a busy, busy man. In 2001, Daryl has served as Chief Executive Officer of one of the multi-million-dollar youth organizations. Before that, he served as the adjunct sports law professor for the graduate school at Ball State University and worked for the NCAA for 5 years in their legislative and student athlete adversary department. Daryl also serves as a national public speaker on the topics of character development, diversity training, leadership empowerment for change. Now this is the big part. And I'm gonna get to this over here when you see this. In September of 2018, Daryl became an author when his first book hit the shelves entitled, Change Does Not Occur in a Flash. And those books will be for sale right over here. And they are $30 or 2 for $40, so make sure each of you buy 2 because you know someone that needs to read it. And if you want to buy me one, you can do that too. Please join in with me welcoming Daryl Gordon. Yes. Yeah, all the way to the back is fine.
Thank you, Dennis. I want to thank the Wayne County for inviting me today. We also have some friends from Richmond, the Moreland Youth and Family Treatment Center Board of Directors, our board chair, Sandy Ryle, and I also believe Chris is in the audience as well. I want to thank you guys for attending. Please stand and just be recognized, if you will. And I also want to thank Gertrude. She's been unbelievable in this process. And also the Wayne County Board, I'm sorry, the Fayette County Board of Directors, I want to thank you for this opportunity as well. So let me start by saying introductions. So I hate them. I despise introductions. Why? Why do I? Because it makes you seem as if you're perfect, right? There is nobody perfect or without flaw. So I want to reintroduce myself with the flaws and the imperfection. Is that okay? All right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the one and only Daryl Flash Gordon. At 5 years of age, I walked to kindergarten every day and got bullied prior to the anti-bullying laws. At 6 years of age, I live in an apartment building in a poverty-stricken environment. I lived on the second floor of this apartment building, and I remember my mom coming home on the first floor, and she got jumped by a group of 6 individuals, and I was on the second floor and I was looking. There was nothing I could do. And all I remember her turning her eyes when she was on the ground, and she looked at me, wishing I wasn't there. At 11 years of age, my mom and my dad sat me and my 5 brothers and sisters down and said, we're no longer going to be a family. We're getting a divorce. At 13 years of age, I joined the gang. That's right, I joined the gang. Not because I wanted to, because I had to, if I wanted to stay alive in my community in New Jersey. And the name they called me was Abdul. At 19 years of age, I've flown from the University of Notre Dame in my sophomore year back home to New Jersey, Beth Israel Hospital, to walk into the room to see my 26-year-old sister dying. And there was nothing I could do. I couldn't even tell her I loved her. Within 24 hours, she was dead. At 21 years of age, we've flown from the White House, landed back in South Bend, celebrating our national championship. And me and my best friend gets off the airplane and say, hey, let's stop by the local establishment in South Bend. And what we were going to do is we were going to just visit with the locals and celebrate our national championship. And when we walk in there and we're talking to them and signing autographs, and all of a sudden he drops to the ground. And he likes to play. I'm saying, Steve, get off the ground. And I'm just signing autographs, talking, and he's not moving. And I look, and he's grasping for air. He can't breathe. He's biting his tongue. And I immediately said, call 911. Within 5 minutes, he's dead. The same kid that 5 hours ago were in the White House, dead. At 22 years of age, I graduated from the University of Notre Dame undergrad and graduate degree. Got home, worked with my dad. He owned an auto mechanic shop. And I remember putting on my overalls and I started working for him. And I remember it was 32 days later, he walked up to me. He said, Daryl, you can't work here anymore. This is your last day. You got to do something with yourself. And I remember going home. I was crying a little bit. I'm like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? Where am I going to live? That is an honest introduction. That's a lot of loneliness, tragedy, pain, hurt, death, danger for a 22-year-old young man to have to endure, right? That, a culmination of all of those experiences really is a recipe for me to perhaps be incarcerated, maybe dead, addicted to drugs or alcohol or opioids, but I shouldn't be standing here. But I didn't, I changed. I changed from a troubled child in a gang to a successful student athlete that graduated from the University of Notre Dame, undergrad and graduate degree, and a law degree, and eventually become the CEO of one of the most prominent nonprofits in the Midwest. Why am I sharing that with you? It's this simple. One of the most prominent nonprofits in the Midwest. And it's my job to help you transform who you are to who you want to become. That's my goal tonight. 18 years working for Warren Youth and Family Treatment Center. 18 years working with young men and women who have been abused, neglected, or abandoned. 150 to 200 people that are committed to the transformation of young men and women. And I remember the clinical director coming to me, and he said, Flash, and there's psychologists and psychiatrists and therapists and caseworkers, they know about children. And he comes, he said, I heard your story. I read your book. He said, there's no way. There is no way for you to have made the changes that you've made. It's impossible, if not unreasonable, for you to be standing where you are today doing what you're doing. You know what I said? He said, it's not even possible. But the reason why I'm sharing that with you, because 80% of the American people never change. 80%. Only until they experience a severe degree of discomfort. That's when the change begins. Now, I'm not talking about discomfort like, for example, when you're on the phone with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your wife or husband. You ever been on the phone and you're arguing back and forth? I know you never argue, but let's say you're arguing for the first time, right? And all of a sudden your phone dies, the battery dies, and there's no charger in sight. Guys, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's not, when you get home, it's uncomfortable, right? Am I right? I'm not talking about that kind of uncomfortableness, though. I'm not even talking about uncomfortableness as it relates to maybe you're in a banquet and you have a wedgie. You ever had a wedgie? And you're walking around and you want to kind of address it, but everybody's around and you can't really do anything about it? Like Michael Jackson on Thriller, you know? Like some of you now are kind of squirming a little bit. You're a little uncomfortable. I'm not talking about that kind of uncomfortableness. You know what I'm really talking about? I'm talking about uncomfortableness as it relates to these things here. 80% of American people never change until you experience a severe degree of discomfort. Until a breakup happens, that's when you decide to seek a counselor. Until you have financial hardship, then you decide to seek the financial advisor. Right? Until you lose your job, then you just say, I'm going to start working harder. Until you have academic failure, then you say, I'm putting aside social media. Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. Am I missing anything? LinkedIn, Facebook. You ever heard TikTok? Yes. I just learned that a couple days ago. Spiritual crisis. You ever had spiritual crisis? All of a sudden, you decide to change. Says, God, I'll tell you what, if you can get me out of this, I'll pray every night and I'll go to church every Sunday. Right? That's when we start to change, or when our health goes bad. And then we say, you know, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start eating better. But what you need to know, 20% of the American people change without experiencing a severe degree of discomfort. 20%. Now, The question you should be asking me is, why? Why does 80% of the American people aren't changing? Why are they sitting in the same place and not make major transformation in their lives? I'm going to tell you why. There's a lady by the name of Marilyn Ferguson. She died in 2007 at the young age of 70, an unbelievable researcher. She actually studied the human brain and studied why we don't change. She actually came up with the 80-20 rule. And she determined the reason why 80% of us never change and why 20% do. This is worth your admission. It is worth your admission. She says this. She said, it's not that we're so in love with the same old way of doing things is why we don't change. She says, it's not that. She said, it's not that we're afraid to change. We all want to be successful. This is what she says. She said, it's the in-between time of change that we all fear the most. What do I mean by that? Linus, you remember Linus from the Charlie Brown? Carry the dirty little stinky blanket, right? You remember Linus? Right? Linus was an 80 percentile person. He never wanted to wash his blanket. And his mom every week would fight with him about washing his blanket. And he says, no, Mom, you can't wash. And then finally he loses, and she puts it in the washing machine. And what does he do? He hugs the washing machine as it washes. 45 minutes, just like that. And when it's done, he puts it in the dryer. What does he do? Hugs the dryer for 15 minutes. And then when it comes out, he grabs it. Oh, he starts breathing again. Now listen, Linus doesn't have a problem having a clean blanket. Linus' problem is he's not willing to go through the in-between time to get there. So he would stick with a dirty blanket. With that blanket could have coronavirus on it. He wouldn't care. He'd die. He'd like, listen, I'm not changing. I'm staying right here. I'm not going over there where I belong. Okay, maybe that doesn't resonate, right, for you. So let's try this. Why do you stay in financial hardship? When I talk about financial hardship, I'm talking about you're in significant debt. Your credit cards are maxed out. Better yet, your credit scores are so low you can probably step over it, right? Why do you stay in that space? I'm going to tell you why. Because when the financial advisor gets to you and he or she says to you, listen, I need you to stop eating out. No more Ruth Chris, no more St. Elmo's, no more Applebee's, no more White Castle, no more, well, White Castle got some good burgers. And it's only $2, right? You could probably do the White Castle, okay? Now, I can't tell you about the after effects of the White Castle, but the White Castles are good burgers. So do the White Castles. But the first question you say to yourself is, how long? How long do I have to not eat out? And the advisor says 2 years. You're like, I'm not interested. I'm going to stay right here. I ain't going. Or they say, you can't shop online anymore for the next 2.5 years. You mean no Amazon? No more Kohl's or Macy's? For 2.5 years? What about 30 days? No, 2.5. Well, I'm not interested. I'm going to stay broke. That's the in-between time, right? So I, too, want to stay right where I am sometimes, 80 percentile, and not change. Sometimes I want to just eat pizza and just live life and not worry about finance, not worry about work. I just want, but this is how I see it. I call it the tightrope. This is who I am, the 80 percentile. That's who I want to become, the 20 percentile. The only thing in my way is the tightrope. And why won't we walk it? Why won't we walk it? Because what? We're afraid we'll fall. So what do? We stay right here. 10, 20, 30 years, not changing. Then somebody finally gets the kahunas to walk out. Right? And then what happened? They fall. And then what happens? That's where you grow. That's where the power comes. That's where you redevelop yourself. That's where you become a better leader, a better husband, a better wife. That's during the valley while you're in there. That's where greatness comes. But what happens when you get back on the rope? What happens? Where do y'all go? Right back over here. After that experience, I'm staying right here. I asked her if she wanted to go on a date, and she said no, so I'm not asking another girl again. Right? Think about it. But I'm saying you got to keep going so that you can actually be who you're supposed to be. Over here. This is where Fayette County is supposed to be. Over here. This is where your family's supposed to be. Your finances, your spirituality is supposed to be right here. Your health is supposed to be right here. But we're sitting right here. Listen, it's my goal to help you navigate through the in-between time of change. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to take you way back to some of the most challenging times of my life, probably some of the most embarrassing times of my life. I'm going to take you back to my high school days. My sophomore year in high school, I had an unbelievable season for some reason that year in football. That coaches were all over the country were coming to visit my high school. And I remember my head coach coming to me and said, "Hey, Flash, I saw Alabama and Clemson and Notre Dame today." I said, "Did you?" He said, yes, I saw them. He said, "Well, I saw Alabama, I saw Clemson, but I didn't see Notre Dame." Well, they were in the guidance department. They went to look at your grades and talk about your character. I said, "My grades?" I said, "Did they show them my grades?" All of a sudden, I was a big-time attorney, right, at 16 years of age. I said, "Wait a minute. Did the guidance person say anything about my character? Did they slander me?" I kind of use those languages. It's pretty impressive for a little 16-year-old kid. But why was I being defensive? Why was I being defensive? Because I was doing crappy. Yelling when you're at home and you start getting defensive, that's because you're probably doing something wrong. Right? That's exactly what I was doing. So I said, "What did they say?" They said, "Listen, we don't think he fits the mold of a Notre Dame man. As such, we're going to be leaving." And they just left. And I remember at that point in time, I said to myself, I want to change. And I determined, if I'm going to change, do I have the capacity to actually change who I am to who I want to become? And I realized I had to rise to the 20th percentile of my class. Could I do that? But I realized I wasn't the smartest person in that school, but I worked harder than anybody there. I knew I could do that. So I knew I could rise. And then I put a plan together. So I went to my mom and dad and said, "Listen, this is going to be a safe haven for me. Every time I come home, I'm going to study. I need this place quiet because I want to go to Notre Dame." Then I went to my teachers. I said, "Listen, you need to hold me accountable in the classroom. If you're not going to hold me accountable, I don't want to be in this class." They agreed. And then I went to my thug friends, the guys that really weren't going anywhere. I said, "Listen, fellas, I can't hang out with you guys as much as I used to because I'm trying to go to Notre Dame. I need to use that time to prepare myself so I can go to Notre Dame." And they thought it for a while. They said, "Okay, we'll let you go. We'll let you spend time in that environment." And I did. I rose up to the top 20% of my class. My senior year was Adidas All-American, was the #1 linebacker coming out of the country in that year. Guess who walks through the door my last 2 days of school? Coach Faust, the head coach at the University of Notre Dame. He says, "Flash, how are you?" I said, "How you doing, Coach?" He said, "I know you got all your offers already, and I know I'm the last of the last, but I saw your academic and your athletic performance, and I want to offer you a full ride to the University of Notre Dame." I said, wow. I took it. I said, thank you. I'll think about it. And I started walking. And I turned around and said, I'll take it. I'll take it. And he hugged me. I hugged him. And then we realized what we were doing, and we backed off, right? And it was unbelievable. I now find myself on Notre Dame's campus, where there's a Golden Dome. It was Touchdown Jesus behind you, and it was a stadium, the tradition where all these great players have played. It was beautiful. And I remember my first, second, third, fourth year, I did well academically, although I had bumps, but I did well. And at the end, the first semester of my senior year, we lost in the Cotton Bowl, and the season was over. And we went 7-4. And I remember I had to go visit Coach Holtz. He was my new coach at that time. And I had to talk to him about my 5th year, because anytime you don't play your first year, you get a 5th year, an extra year. So I was excited about that, because I was going to get an extra graduate degree for free. I was going to try to work and win a championship, all those things that I really wanted to do. And I was starting for the last 3 years, so I knew he was excited about having me back, me and 3 other guys. So this is what happens. I walk into his office, and I get there, and he said, hey, Flash, have a seat. I said, thank you, Coach. I'll do that. And I sit down. I said, how you been, Coach? He says, Flash, I'm doing pretty well. How are you? And he was kind of stoic. He said, I'm doing okay. But he has this drawl. So I'm going to give you the drawl. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I said, well, Coach, listen, I'm excited about coming back next year. This is going to be awesome. Thank you. He said, Flash Gordon, I'm going to tell you. I got one thing to tell you, son. We are not asking your ass back this year. I said, what? I said, this is my senior, I get a 5th year. This is when I'm going to prepare for the pros. It's March. You should have told me this in December. I'm sorry, son. I got the Alumni Association. I got other people on my butt about winning games. This is my 3rd year, and I got to start winning. And I brought in the top 2 recruiting classes, my freshman and our sophomore teams, and they're ready to play. You weren't one of my recruits. So you need to move on. I'm like, Coach, that's unfair. I said, that's unfair. He said, listen, I'll do one thing. I'm going away for 2 weeks to do some more recruiting. I'll be back in 2 weeks. When I get back, I'll make my final decision. I said, that's fair. He said, close the door behind you. I said, I haven't got up yet. He said, close the door behind you. So I got up and I walked out the door. And I walked back to my dorm. And I remember that walk was like 4 miles, it felt like to me. And all I thought about as a 21-year-old kid is, maybe I don't want to play for Notre Dame. Maybe I am done. Maybe I'm going to just go and do what I want to do. You know, who are they to tell me what? 3 days into it, I'm in my bedroom. And I said, I may leave this place. And I'm not done. I'm going to prove to him. And there's this epiphany that I'm going to change. That I'm going to change who I am. I'm going to be the best player that he ever saw. At that point in time, I realized, can I rise above all those other All-Americans on the football field at Notre Dame? I had to be better than them. And I realized I worked harder than them. So he comes back 2 weeks, 3 days later, a little late. And I remember going back to his office. He said, Flash Gordon? Yes. He said, that's not my phone. He said, Flash Gordon, I want to let you know something. I said, what's that, Coach? I got unfortunate news. Before he could say something, I stood up. I said, Coach, when you were gone for the last 2 weeks, I went to the trainer. And I asked him if he would work with me 6 days a week, one-on-one. And he agreed. And we worked so hard. I was the strongest guy on the team, pound for pound, bench pressing 450 pounds, only weighed 220. The strongest guy on the team. I said, also, Coach, I went to my position coach, and I told him I wanted to watch film 5 days a week. Would he do that with me? And he said, I will. And we watched my prior film, and then I told him I'd like to look at the future film of teams we're going to be playing, like the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Michigans. And he agreed. So, Coach, I already spoke with him. And finally, Coach, I'm going to give you 120% on the field. I promise you that. That means I'm going to work so hard that may mean other players are going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt because I'm working so hard. But they need to see the value of hard work. What did he say? I'm going to give you one last chance, Flash Gordon. One last chance. If you have one mistake, you're out. And in my head, I'm like, ain't no way he can kick me out in the middle of the season. But maybe he could. I was only 21. Fast forward. We win a national championship. We go 12-0. I am the leader of the team. I win a graduate degree free of charge. And I get to go to the White House to visit former President Reagan and former President Bush. Because I didn't quit. Because I changed who I was to who I wanted to become. After we won a national championship, and I left the University of Notre Dame, guess what? Guess what happened? I had setback after setback after setback after setback after setback. And every time I had to make a determination whether I was going to step into the in-between time or not. Every time. And every time I did. Every time I stepped into the in-between time. I stepped into it to earn my law degree after Notre Dame. I stepped into it to transform the NCAA. I stepped into it to help revitalize Warrenly Youth and Family Treatment Center for 18 years. I stepped into it. Every time I stepped into the in-between time of change, major things begin to happen. Every time I did that, the only way I got through it was because of the five factors. We call it the flashpoints. This is the only way to get through the in-between time for me. Joe Montana out there, he says it right, he quotes it. That's how he got through. Jerome Bettis, he said that's how he used to earn his yardage, through the 5 flashpoints. Lou Holtz, he speaks about it. These 5 pieces get you through it. Facing up to change. Remember now, you first have to be willing to make a change in your life if you want to pursue this opportunity. You first got to say, I'm ready to change, whatever that is. If you say, yes, I'm ready to move forward, like I had to when Coach said, we don't want you at Notre Dame, or when Lou Holtz came and says, I don't want to give you a 5th year, that's when I had the epiphany and I changed. Learning your capacity. First, I determined everybody have the capacity to change. Sometimes, some people say, I want to lose 300 pounds in 3 weeks. You ain't got the capacity to do that. But I had the capacity to rise to the 20% of my class. I had the capacity to rise among the other All-Americans on the football field. I had the capacity. Then I put an action plan together. Remember, I talked to my mom and dad, and I said, listen, this is going to be a safe haven? Or when I went to my coach and I said, would you train me 5 days a week, one-on-one? That was the action plan I put together. And then securing support. I think this is the most important. When you talk to people about what you're trying to do, I intentionally told my mom, listen, I'm trying to go to Notre Dame. This got to be a safe haven. Then I went to my teachers. I'm trying to get to Notre Dame. Hold me accountable. Right? Then I went to my homies. I said, I can't hang out with y'all anymore. The support they were giving, they weren't going to bother me anymore. That was the support. And then finally holding on to change. What does that mean? That means if you're going to college, then finish. 56% of those who enter college, 56, don't graduate. That's from the College Clearinghouse. 56%. If you're going to play on an athletic team, don't just be on the team, start. If you're going to start, be the captain. If you're going to be the captain, try to win a championship. The same thing at your company. If you're going to work there, don't just work there, lead it. Be the manager, then move up to the director, then run the place. Hold on to it. I'm going to close by saying this. The in-between time of change, what is that? How do I get from here, 80% to the 20%? What is that called? What is that period of time called? It's What is it that we call that? Let me hear it. I got to what? I got to do something. To get there, I got to do what? Starts with an S. What is it? Say that again. Say it louder. Say it louder. Sacrifice. If you aren't willing to sacrifice who you are right here, because some of y'all right here, right now, Fayette County may be right here, right now, to who you want to become, you're going to have to sacrifice. I had to sacrifice my best friends in high school to say I can't hang out with y'all. I had to sacrifice working every day in the gym and not spending time with my buddies and my teammates at Notre Dame and going to parties and clubs so that I could win a national championship. Sacrifice. Sometimes we're afraid to do that. So I'm gonna close like this, like you're my best friends. Do y'all know you got two options? In 2003, that's 3 years from now, you get to make a decision as to which option you want. In 2003, you get to leave this building today the same way you walked in. It make no profound difference in your life in 2003. You just go back to work, you just go back doing the same thing you've been doing, have the same relationship with your family, have the same financial future, have the same work ethic, have the same health, have the same spiritual life. No change, just 2003, because it's coming. Somebody say, oh, I ain't got time. 2003 is going to be here. So if you do nothing, you'll be nothing. I'm going to give you option B. Option B is you can embrace the flashpoints, and you can actually have an unbelievable relationship with your spouse. And your financial future with your advisor can grow like it never had before and retire early. Your jobs, you finally enjoy it because you're in the right one. If you're an academic person and you're in school, that you're getting A's and B's, not C's, D's, and F's. Or your spiritual life, you're so spiritually engulfed in the Word that you're ministering to other people about how great He is. And finally, your health. You have high blood pressure? Pa. Diabetes? Pa. You're killing it. That's option B. In 3 years, you get to choose which one you want in 3 years, but it's coming. It's coming. So I'm closing like this. I lived in the ghetto. Ford and Visteon left here and left an environment for you, right? That was my environment. You have your own environment. I used to be in a gang. Y'all had this thing that pulled y'all in called opioids, that pulled you in. But one thing I can tell you, those issues never defined me. I would be disappointed if Ford, Visteon, or opioids define you. Because y'all better than that. And this place is going to be better than that. As y'all come together as a team, this Fayette County in 3 years, I promise you, in 3 years, we'll be having a whole different story. It'll be national news, the transformation that Fayette County made from where they were to where they want to become. I pray and look forward to seeing you all on platform B in the 20 percentile. Thank you and God bless you all.
Well, that was very inspiring. Daryl, I have a question for you. Will that positive attitude work for someone who wants to grow hair? Sorry. Shouldn't have got him when he was drinking. I stopped. Very inspiring. It's time to honor this year's award winners. Each year, the Chamber recognizes individuals and businesses who are shining stars in our community. All of the winners tonight, and including those who were nominated but did not win, are making intentional efforts to make our community better on a daily basis, and that is greatly appreciated. So the first award is sponsored by Metronet, and Gertrude will come to the podium to present that award.
Thank you, Randy. I generally don't do this, but Metronet was not able to be here this evening with a representative. But it's my honor to be able to present the Beautification Award for 2019 to our winner. I would first like to recognize those who are in the room who have been nominated this year for this recognition. I'd like to have Heather Moore with Morehouse Realty please stand. I believe you're somewhere right over here. Heather, thank you. One of the nominees, Ron Schneider, representing Superior Oil. And we also have, if Sharon McQueen, who is, or Carolyn Bunzendahl, both want to stand, representing the Oasis, the educational green space that was spearheaded through Discover Connersville and 2 other collaborative partners. The award is given in thank you, and you may sit down. We appreciate it. The Beautification Award, it's given in recognition of an individual, group, or business who has made an outstanding contribution to the effort of beautifying and raising the image of Connersville and Fayette County, aesthetically through efforts in their neighborhood and or throughout the county. I would like to invite to the stage to join me, Ron Schneider with Superior Oil. Beautification, by our definition, is an award, is something that helps raise the image of Connersville. Superior Oil has blessed our community with ongoing restoration and beautification of their state-of-the-art facility. Their construction and investment for long-term sustainable beautification is evident from every corner of their complex. New buildings, parking area, and green space were part of their first transformation. Superior Oil purchased additional property and continues to eliminate blight and create an amazing industrial complex. They took an area that was uninviting and distressed and turned it into something beautiful. Named as one of the top 20 chemical distributors in the nation, Superior Oil quietly goes about their work nestled in our hometown of Connersville. The 1500 block of Western Avenue was blighted, and Superior Oil turned it into a beautiful streetscape on one of the busiest throughways in town. One of the nomination forms stated, Superior has gone to great lengths improving their entire area, building new office buildings, demolishing the unsightly mess left behind from the fire years prior. This significant investment in the Connersville facility to not only clean up and beautify, but additionally ensure a lasting, sustainable presence and workforce for many years to come. Another nomination form added, Superior Oil is one of the finest examples of local business showing their support of and respect for the community in which they operate. We can all be proud of this gemstone located in our backyard. On behalf of Metronet, it gives me great pleasure and honor to award the 2019 Chamber of Commerce Beautification Award to Ron Schneider. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you. This is a distinct honor. We're proud of our facility. We want to be a good corporate citizen. We want to be here for the long haul. We are employee owned, so the investment is an investment into the people in Connersville. Following the speaker tonight, it was an amazing speech. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I want to encourage everybody to focus on the positive things in Connersville, not focus on the negative, learn from them, and move on. This is a great place to live. It's a great place to be. We couldn't have done what we've done on that corner without the help of our employees, our community, our government leaders. Thank you all.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to present the winner of the Small Business Entrepreneur Award of the Year. This award is to be given to a small business or entrepreneur that demonstrates and exemplifies the American dream of free enterprise and success. This award is given to a business that has and continues to make significant contribution and impact on the community by their superior and unique accomplishments in the operation of their business or other endeavors. Through its integrity and charity, the small business or entrepreneur should provide a goodwill spirit and character within the community. At this time, I'd like to invite Anna Pugsley from the Connersville News Examiner. Up to the stage, please.
That was a surprise.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of the economy. Community newspapers, while often overlooked in this category, must operate under the same principles of innovation and adapting in order to thrive. From 1887 to 1992, the newspaper was in the hands of the same family, the Sinks, and their grandson, George Tapman. The paper was sold to Nixon Newspapers in 1992. Paxton Media Group, a fourth-generation family-owned media company, assumed ownership of the Connersville News Examiner in 1999. Long-term residents of this community know the history of Connersville in the 2000s. The closing of the Visteon plant and subsequent feeder businesses, and the declining population in search of employment. This caused a ripple effect throughout the business community and immediately impacted the newspaper in publication and distribution. The advancement of social media and the immediate access to information online caused further struggles for this local newspaper. In the last 2 years, the publisher, along with editorial staff, decided on some drastic changes to make the newspaper stable and customer-focused. 2018 brought a concentration on local Connersville and coverage of important issues in our city and county. The News Examiner is the only news medium providing original coverage of local news and sports. Staff changes were made during this time to reflect the priority of local, involved, and positive people. Anna Pugsley was promoted to general manager. Bob Hanson serves as the editor. And the young, passionate staff that includes Daryl Smith works very hard to bring positive news. They cover every event and are passionate about being involved in Connersville so that the local newspaper can be brought to your door. Another change to help the paper be nimble and adapt to new publishing days of Tuesday through Saturday, and by delivering by U.S. mail starting last summer. This change was well received by subscribers who can get daily news updates on the News Examiner's website and social media. In a short time, our community noticed these positive changes and appreciate the community-focused effort by the News Examiner to be current, informative, and accurate. If your organization's meeting or event date did not get published, it's probably because you didn't submit the information. The News Examiner is a good newspaper in a good community. On behalf of Tim's Auto Outlet It is my pleasure to present the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce Small Business Entrepreneur Award to the Connersville News-Examiner.
Thank you very much. This means a lot. The newspaper means a lot to me, and I've put my heart and soul into it, and if it wasn't for all the employees I have at the paper, it wouldn't be such a great place to work, and we wouldn't be able to cover the community like we do. So thank you very much.
Good evening. The Citizen of the Year Award represents the highest recognition given by the Chamber to an individual member of the business community. The candidates must be or have been active in the Fayette County business community with the following criteria: demonstrated leadership success in promoting the development of the community, overall involvement in and contributions to the community, participation in professional activities, and respected reputation among the community's leadership. At this time, would all previous recipients of the Citizen of the Year Award please stand to be recognized? Four of our local citizens were nominated for Citizen of the Year Award in 2019. I would like to recognize all of those individuals. Would you please stand as I call your name? Mike Hartzell. Becky Marvel. Joanne Borders. And Brian Durham. Becky Marvel, would you please join me on the stage? Becky Marvel is a remarkable example of going above and beyond her work responsibilities. She is a board member of Discover Connersville, our Main Street organization. She serves on the board of Fayette County Community Voices, where she is a captain group leader for health and natural environment, and the co-lead of Fayette County Food Policy Council, where she helped to develop the program. Becky worked with Purdue University's Michael Wilcox to bring evaluating the value of public spaces to the community, where Connersville was selected to pilot the program. The outcome of this effort will be added to our city and county's comprehensive plan. This led to Purdue Landscape Architects Group with Dr. Aaron Thompson to create designs for the 2nd Street Park, the Oasis, and Courthouse Depot area. Becky secured a grant from the Fayette County Community Foundation to create an educational garden green space on a vacant downtown lot owned by Jimmy and Zola Bunzendahl. This produced fresh produce in its first year for downtown, which is considered a food desert. Becky wrote the grant for the farmers market to pay for a market master for the summer and also promotes SNAP, WIC, and senior vouchers to ensure fresh foods can be purchased by all. Becky helps with the mobile farmers market at the fair, the food hub to store and distribute rescued food, and helped with the expansion of the blessing boxes. Becky also heads the Employee Wellness Program for local government employees and promotes the Healthy Junior Leader Food Stand at the fair. Becky recently brought the Hatch program to Connersville, where food pantries can purchase eggs for 50 cents a dozen, and the Food Policy Council raised the first $500 towards the program. Becky secured bringing Purdue here to assist with the community comprehensive plan and to help bring architect interns and nursing students to do our health assessment. Connersville is now in the pre-award phase on a grant from Robert Wood Johnson Foundation's Healthy Communities Pilot Program to include a health coalition in Connersville. Despite the lack of educators at the time, Becky kept us in the running for this $65,000 award for health initiatives partnering with youth and to address the health issues in Fayette County. As one nomination stated, Becky is a rock star. Becky has been a 4-H club leader for 16 years, a junior leader, a member of the Homeowners Extension, and helps with community meals. She is also a pastor's wife and helps him with church activities at Central Christian Church. Along with her husband Greg, she raised 3 children and has a full family life. Becky's clock must run longer than our 24 hours a day, because who else works so hard to make her community a healthy, happy, vital place to live? She is a leader in a quiet and humble way that is unmistakable for wanting the best for our residents. Becky has a heart for this community that keeps pushing her forward and helps us all to have hope in the future of our town. On behalf of Union Savings and Loan Association, it is my pleasure to present the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce 2019 Citizen of the Year Award to Becky Marvel. Step to the right of the podium. Both of you, get ahead.
Well, I'm shaking to death up here. I don't like to be in front of people, believe it or not. When I was in high school, I couldn't even order a hamburger. And so talk about, I appreciate the speaker because I've really had to step out of my comfort zone with this job. But I would like to thank the Chamber for what all you do. I'm so humbled and honored to be nominated for this position and this award. I'd like to thank the nominees for all your hard work that you do. And let's give them a hand, please. And I'd like to thank those who nominated me, the many partners. I could not do half of what I'm able to do without all of you and all the people in this community that really are out there giving of their time, and I so appreciate that. I appreciate those who are making an impact in our community, and I admire you, and I thank you for that. Thank you to my family, my husband Greg, our 3 kids, because there's a lot of times we don't get supper at night, and they put up with me, and the laundry doesn't always get done, and they're always encouraging me, Mom, it's okay to go and help somebody else. I'd like to thank my parents. My mother's here tonight, and I appreciate my parents instilled my faith, and my serving others. And they're, I hate to tell you age, Mom, they're in their 80s and they're still volunteer. So give them a hand. So they're my inspiration and my superheroes to keep. My husband and I always say, the day we quit serving is the day we die. So we all can keep serving. I would like to leave you with this motto: one of the greatest gifts you can give to your community is your time. Thank you, and God bless you.
Congratulations to the winners. When I asked that question of Daryl earlier about my hair, he was taking a drink and he kind of spit some water on the floor. I think what he was saying is I don't have the capacity. But after being here tonight, seeing all the people in the audience, seeing the winners and those that were nominated, I can tell you that Connersville does have the capacity to reach our goals. So thank you for coming tonight. Be safe driving home. Don't forget to stop by Daryl's table. He'll give you an autographed copy of his book. And that concludes our program. Thank you.